Hello there, my followers, my subscribers, people new to my channel, all y'all, essentially everybody. My name is Mark A. Lyons, Mark Angela Lyons, Mal for short, and I was really guided last night, actually for the past couple of days, to do a quickie video. We'll see how quick it is. Loquacious, loquacious, loquacious. About court cards and how I read them. I've been reading tarot since I'm 12 years old. If you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe. So I've said it again and again. Like, I started really, really young, and there's actually a video, one of the Mal vlogs that I did a long time ago. I think it's like 30 years in tarot. I call it that. I got my first deck of tarot because of a Justice League of America comic book when I was a kid. And I have to say that my relationship with the court cards for a very long time was a little odd, was a little strange, was a little uncomfortable, because there's just so many books you can read, right? You can't read every book on tarot, and it all just got very, very confusing to me. And then I found a way to read it through, some of you may be familiar with the deck, The Mythic Tarot by Juliet Sharman Burke. Now, this, I don't believe, was in the book that came with the deck. It was the workbook, yeah, the Mythic Tarot workbook, where she gave me a whole new way of looking at the court cards in the tarot through a zodiacal lens, meaning of the 12 signs of the zodiac. So the deck that I currently read and have been reading since I'm 19 years old is Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I love it so much. It's a round deck. Fiona Morgan, feminist deck, heavy, craft influence, I guess, or pagan influence, but really more goddess worship. To me, at the end of the day, it's all the same light, moonlight, but light nonetheless. So then I started doing these readings on YouTube. Now, if you go look at my back catalog on YouTube, you will see that I did the majority of it before I started doing these readings was spiritual teaching, usually videos of me teaching in front of a white pen board, right? Because that's really what I do. I'm a spiritual teacher, spiritual counselor, but I've been doing tarot, doing readings for people privately way longer than that. So it was very interesting for me to see repeatedly, for instance, when, let's just say, the Queen of Swords would pop up, people would say, oh, it's air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Well, if you look in this card, very specifically, it is Aquarius, right? Same thing. Oh, Knight of Pentacles, slowest moving knight. Yeah, I know. But Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But this is the Virgo card. So, oh, and by the way, as counterpoint there, just a counterpoint to confirm, see, it says Virgo on there, so the Maiden of Pentacles. So when I read, and I've taught tarot, in fact, I haven't taught tarot in a while. I would really love to. I do a 3-part workshop, level 1, level 2, level 3, for people who want to read professionally. Now I would add more to it, like how to read professionally while, recording YouTube, how to read collectives and stuff like that. I guess I would put that in level 3. What we're looking at here, even my students were like, I just don't like the court cards. I don't know what they mean. And then I would teach them the zodiacal process. So I'm going to go through this quickly with you so that we understand each other. And this is how I teach it to my students. So if you will please look at your 4 fingers, not the thumb, tuck in the thumb, right? Now, this is if you have 4 fingers, right? Some people don't, and that's fine. I'm not trying to shade nobody or shame nobody, right? So I want you to think of the 4 elements: air, fire, water, earth. All right, you with me? And then each segment you have 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 signs of the zodiac. So actually, it's in the tarot, I just totally did it in witchcraft, so I have to do this tarot. So you have fire, earth, air, water, right? So when you have 4 elements, do know that each element has 3 conditions: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. All right, that's the 3 that you put in the 4 elements, you get 12. So cardinal, for example, the King of Wands, cardinal. See, and it's even got it's got a ram there. Ram Man, Aries. And here it is in the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, right? The Maiden of Blades, of Flames, sorry, Aries. Cardinal means creative. What do cardinal signs mean? Like even, I don't like using this example, but I will. Like, what are cardinals in the Catholic Church, right? They're the first line right under the Pope. So cardinal, initiatory, first, right? Why are those red birds called cardinals? Because they are the first birds, right, that you see in a certain season. I think it's winter. What do I know at the mo? Ornithology was never my thing. It's all for the birds. So when you put it in that context, then it's not like, oh, it's a fire sign. No, if it is a king, it is Aries, cardinal fire. A king, what does a king do? A king creates the laws, right? Creates the boundaries of the kingdom, and then goes out and extends those boundaries, creates more land for his kingdom. Now let's be clear, king, queen, knight, gender neutral. We're talking zodiac signs, we're talking elements and their specific qualities, right? Conditions. So then we can look at the King of Cups as Cancer, right? I mean, really, that's why I love this deck, right? There was a little crabby, got a little quill, got a little crabby going on there. And in this deck, you can see Mother of Cups, Cancer. So cardinal, creative water. Where are you? Where are you? King of Swords, right? Libra. You even got the scales there. Thank you, Juliet Sherman Burke. But you even got the scales here indicated in the Mother of Blades, Libra. And just to show you King of Pentacles, which would be Capricorn, right? Capricorn literally says it on the card. So that you get, in this case, the Mythic Tarot doesn't say what sign it is, but it's indicated through symbolism here, just says it right on the card. So I, as a reader, don't have to kind of look at, oh, could be this sign, this sign, this sign. It's like whack. Now, I'll do that for the rest of the cards, but I do want to make this point. Cross-watchers, right? It is really hard to cross-watch when the person you are cross-watching for has similar placements, right, in the natal chart. So I find when people say, it's like, well, it's an air sign, it could be this, this, or this, in this case, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, then it's up to you, to the watcher, to intuitively figure out which one it is, which is a nice exercise intuitively, and I can do that, because, well, I won't lie, I'm a cross-watcher. What the fuck is going on? I want to know, right? I am a Virgo with Leo rising, Pisces moon, and Venus in Libra, Mars in Leo. So when I'm cross-watching for somebody, that's a lot of freaking math to do in my mind if someone's giving me even more things to consider. So that's why I'm telling you how I read. Now, I'm not throwing shade on any other reader. Tarot is an art. Who am I to judge someone else's art? I mean, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. That's an intuitive thing. It's not a judgment. If you're watching a video and something goes, I don't think this is mine, not repulsion, because that means it probably is about you, and you have that sort of like intense, animated, like, oh, fuck you, it's probably for you. But if it's like, meh, this one isn't for me, not all readings can be for all of us all the time. And honestly, as a YouTube reader, I gotta tell you, reading collectives, I mean, if people hit thumbs down because it doesn't resonate, that's sort of silly. You can't read everybody in every collective, particularly once you go Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, Venus, Sign, Uranus. Where is Uranus? Uranus is retrograde, but they have surgery for that now. And people thumbs down on that. That's why I know when people thumb down on my readings, I'm like, oh, that was for you. You just didn't like what you heard or saw, right? And that's fine. I don't mind. Do you really think I look like this because I care what people think? By the way, I use overtoned purple from brown. I actually did my mustache and my beard. I don't know, it makes me look really, oh, and my eyebrows. It makes me look a little bit more Italian. I'm only a quarter Sicilian. I digress. So just to kind of clarify even a little bit more. So then when we're looking at Taurus, right? Fixed Earth. right? You have cardinal, you have fixed, you have mutable. So fixed earth. Well, what is fixed? Feminine, in the sense that the queen, what does the queen do? The king is out conquering, right? Making, creating, creating. The queen creates too, but it's fertile, it's fixed. So the queen makes sure that the castle is kept. You know what the castle keep is? That everything is in order, that the, it's, isn't that funny, the word keep, where that the court is kept, you know, like the royal court is kept in order, that things are kept so that things can grow. Now, I'm sorry, I'm a gardener, very much a gardener. I love planting. I have since I was wee itty bitty little Mark, little Mal. My mom had me out in the backyard, right, and walking on the planks and picking strawberries and stuff like that. So I know you just can't plant something in earth that's moving all over the place. You need something fixed. You need something fertile. So, you know, here we are. I don't know if you can see it in here, but if you look at the little heads of the arm rests there, they are little bulls, right? And here literally says on the card, Taurus, right? The corn mother, mother of pentacles. Queen of Wands, Leo. A little obvious, right? A little obvious. Chantico here, the card of Leo. I mean, this makes it so much easier for me as a reader, so I don't have to kind of, oh, could be this, could be this, could be this. It's like, whack. Now, to extrapolate further, just because a zodiac card, a court card, shows up in a reading doesn't mean that it's that person's sun sign, and sometimes it doesn't mean it's a person at all. It's talking about the zodiacal house that it's in. So, for example, just because no, let's pick another one. Who's the next queen I'm looking at here? Queen of Cups, Scorpio, right? So to me, that says, you know, people say, oh, you're dealing with a Scorpio or a water sign, or blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe, and like I said, I'm not throwing shade on any other reader. This is just how I read. To me, that's about money, sex, and power, other people's resources. Eighth house. Now, I'm not an astrologer, but like if I was going to another country, I would learn the language at least to get by. You know, like, where's the bathroom? How much? How much? How much? How much? How much? Right? You're gonna come for me, you better shop in your closet. And I have to learn how to do Bob the Drag Queen in different languages, I guess. I quote it rather often. I love that song. Very Scorpio. Purse first, purse first. But as a reader, I have studied enough astrology to understand. And I think I'm a teacher. I'm a lousy student. I'm a great teacher. I teach myself stuff, as I always have. And my mother was a teacher, is still a teacher in her way, right? So just to finish out these queen cards, right? The Queen of Swords, obviously Aquarius, right? And it says right on the card, Aquarius. That really, really helps me, because as I continue to explore the intuitive depth of these cards, the more information that I can have about them, the better. Cool, cool. Let's just finish these out. The Knight of Swords, Gemini. I mean, could it be any more obvious that that's Gemini, right? Charge to who knows where. What plan? We don't have one. We don't even, wait, let's go this way, go this way, go this way, go this way, right? And here we have Hina, right? But it says right on the card, Gemini. So I know that's mutable. So you've got cardinal, which is creative, expansive, making the new, right? Creation, creation, creation. Then we've got the queens, which are fixed, fertile, stable, not unmoving, but certainly nowhere near the mutability of Gemini, right? So what does that mean? Mutability, constantly changing. So what does the knight do? Well, the king is creating new orders, and the queen has shit she's got to get done. She kind of sits still and directs, right? So what does the knight do? Yes, your majesty. No, your majesty. How low would you like me to go, your majesty? Right? Is that from Alice in Wonderland? I think it is, the Disney version. College flashback, you know, me and a bunch of my friends once watched the VHS version of Disney Alice in Wonderland tripping on acid. I couldn't speak for 48 hours. But now I'm clairvoyant. That last part, I was always clairvoyant. So, so you with me on this? It's like the knight has to kind of Virgo, right? Serve, Knight of Pentacles. Now, unfortunately, we're not seeing that this person is specifically a virgin, but they are carrying, if you look in their hand, a shaft of wheat. Very hard to see in the background with those trees. But but you sort of get the idea. Mutable energy, constantly shifting. So to me, because I am a Virgo, for me, what is mutable earth? Sand, the shifting sands of time. By the way, can you guess I was a professional dancer? I was. Never took my clothes off professionally. Never worked the pole, though I've worked others' poles. Still made people. So then we look at what? The Knight of Wands. Now this is Bellerophon, really. I hope he liked his name. Thanks for the name, Ma. Right? Bellerophon, right? That's where we get the myth of Pegasus from and all of that. And here's Sagittarius, right? Mutable fire. It makes sense. The archer. That's my bow and arrow sound effect. That it's like, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, right? Mutable fire. And then, of course, we have the Pisces. Look, a little fishy jumping out the water, right? Knight of Cups, which is Pisces. Now, I'm not saying if any other YouTube readers are watching this, no, blessed be, you have your own process. I just felt like, and Spirit was like, clarify that for your subscribers and your new people so that they get, well, why isn't he saying it's all the different signs? Because that's not my training, that's not my background, and that's not what my gut tells me. But intuition is just as individual as a fingerprint. So let's be clear about that in general. Now, I can feel the rays. I feel the rays. Where are the pages? I don't like the pages. Even when I used to read the Rider-Waite deck, which I don't anymore. I was going to try and find a deck. I thought I had one. I don't. I might have given mine away 100 years ago. But the pages aren't, to me, people. They are messengers, right? So the Page of Wands would then be an inspiring, creative, fiery, passionate message. Like a sext, all right? Just saying. To me, there's no zodiacal indication there because we've already got cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So the page represents a message or a messenger. For Pentacles, well, yes, it could mean a physical, solid thing, but it can be a bill. It can be about money. It could be about health. It could be an X-ray, right, about the body, something about the physical world, but very, very specific physical world, meaning not so mental, not so emotional, not so desire-based, right? The Page of Swords would be a mental thing, which means it doesn't even have to have a physical substance. It can be something that you overhear or a message that you receive, I would say more third eye, where then the Page of Cups would be an intuitive message or a message that has an emotional reaction response or carries emotion with it. And I mean, this is one of the things that used to turn me off about the pages in particular, let alone the court cards in general. Page of Cups, news of a new birth, a baby has been born. I'm like, well, girl, I'm gay, so that's not. I've never had to take an EPT, never had to piss on a stick, not this life, nor have I gotten anybody pregnant. I don't think I remember that. In a long time. That kid would have to be into his 30s by now, right? You know, 50, 51, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, just checking. Just checking. Any kids out there that are like, no, Mark, all of your DNA has been deposited elsewhere. Thank you. Nothing like a little reassurance. So, you know, this is just how I read. This is what works for me. This is how I have served clients, apparently since the dawn of time, since Gutenberg, the printer, not the actor, not Steve Gutenberg. I've been doing this for a very long time. And again, let me clarify, I'm not trying to drag anybody here, right? I'm not trying to cancel anybody's career, but I thought it was time for me to clarify that. And my guides really backed me up on that. They said, do something a little educational today before you dive into the next series, which I'm going to be doing. And maybe I'll start using my Mythic Tarot. I love this deck. I read this deck when I was in Boston, when I was in college. I was also reading the Salvador Dali Tarot, but I had to let that one go. It's like, don't buy any pocket watches. They might melt. Beware of camels that have female breasts for knees. No, it didn't really work for me. And by the way, Salvador Dali did not design that tarot deck. Someone else took Salvador Dali's work and collaged it, right? Into that. So I've read so many different decks, and that's why I love the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, because there are no pages, right? It's so not patriarchal. It's Maiden, Mother, and Crone. And there's art for you, right? So look, If you need a reading, look at the box below, right? If you need help, reach out. I am a Virgo, but I'm just really glad that for me, I clarified this, that I clarified this publicly, so to speak. So I hope this helps. I hope this clarifies at least how my art is. It could change, but I have a feeling I'm never going to pull outside of the zodiacal language of the court cards, because that's what really works for me. It clicks. It feels more organic to me. Cool, cool. I thank you so very much for watching. Please, my darlings, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and share, because this might be share worthy if this clicks for you. But I also get I might be one of a small handful of readers reading this way, just saying. It helps me clarify. It helps me get more specific energy for my clients, as well as for all y'all. Cool, cool. And if you want to tip me, go right ahead. I got myself a PayPal Me. I already had PayPal. PayPal Me account, join the circle. It's in the box below. Cool, cool. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a really, really great day. And for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.